Samina mina, waka waka, 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. Hold that, man. Hold that. What a game. Wow, what a game. But look, to be honest, it wasn't such a great game, thanks to Mikel Arteta. But the bottom line is, we got the win. We got the job done. Exactly what we wanted. A lot happened today. I mean, Arsenal getting another step closer to the Premier League title. You know, now we're like back to 5 points away from Manchester City. 3 more points to go. We get another win at Crystal Palace. We are champions. Or if Bournemouth steps up and, you know, just takes something away from Man City, bam, just like that, we are champions come Tuesday night. But anyway, let us dissect this match. There was a lot of changes in the lineup, and based on what I saw in the lineup, everyone, like real Arsenal fans, probably already know how that game was gonna go. Like real Arsenal fans already had a clear idea how that game was gonna go, because first of all, remember I've always been saying we wanted to see Odegaard and Eze in the 10, Rice in the 6. We did get that, but that was earlier in the season, right, when things were a lot different. But now it felt like we just went back to beginning of the season when we all excited to see that lineup and play the full dominance game, create loads and loads of chances, and we had the fresh USGoonerz up there that doesn't understand his teammate, that just is non-existent and is gonna miss chances. Try. That was exactly what happened today. But to really explain what happened today, we start with the lineup. As expected, we got Mascara in the right back, Gabriel and Saliba. You know what? At the end of the season, I'm gonna have to give Gabriel and Saliba the proper respect they deserve, because they've really stayed fit for majority of the season, and a lot of people are ignoring the fact that Gabriel and Saliba have been present a lot of the games this season compared to last season and previous season before that. But yeah, Big Gabby and Saliba in the center back pair. Then we had Calafiori playing the left back as expected. Declan Rice in the 6 as expected. Now this is where the changes came in, that we started understanding the kind of game Arsenal was gonna play and how this whole game was just gonna end up. You have Odegaard and Eze in the 10. And I already know what that was going to do. To add more context to the lineup, up front, we have Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz. That lineup alone, I already knew. But then we have Trossard in the left wing and Saka as expected. Now, let me explain how that lineup dictates how Arsenal pretty much finished the game. When Arsenal play that kind of lineup, especially with Odegaard and Eze and Havertz up front, chances are going to be created. We are going to dominate the game. You're going to have a lot of possession. There's going to be a lot of interchanging in positions, similar to how PSG plays. Because Kai Havertz is not a traditional 9. He would always be a false 9, and you can see majority of the time he was in right wing, he was in the right 10, he was in false 9, he was all over the place. And Odegaard, being the recycler, always like to keep things moving, right? Was always going to drop down to the 6 and recycle the play. But as it drops down to the 6, it recycles it, do a 1-2 with Havertz, with Saka, with Eze, you know, get the ball in the box, pass. I knew it was going to be like that, but I knew based on the opponent we were playing, they were not going to have a lot for us. And eventually we would score a goal and we could probably end the game 1-0 or just close the game out with another goal in the second half. End of game 2-0. There was no way that lineup was going to score 4 or 5 goals in that game, or 3, 4, 5 goals in that game. No way. I'm going to tell you why. One person, Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has his pros and he have his cons. One of the major cons of Havertz is his finishing and his positioning. It's not a proper 9. So majority of the time, you're not going to see him there for a tap-in. You're not going to see him there at the end of the ball when there's a crossing. You're going to see him starting the attack, or Odegaard starts the attack. Havertz is going to move the attack along. You're not going to see Havertz running the channel like USGoonerz, bodying people and winning and holding up play like USGoonerz. He's going to get involved in the play. And when he gets involved in the play, what Arsenal was doing, we'd probably into switch and get Eze to the 9, or sometimes Calafiori to the 9. Don't get me wrong. I liked how we were interchanging positions. It sends signals of a better future coming into the next season. I like that. I like that interchange of play. It's just similar to PSG. But the difference between PSG and Arsenal is PSG players are capable of beating their man by dribbling their man. And they will still do that interchange of play. But I don't want us to get sucked in that kind of play and go back to the point where we're not like mini PSG, the soft type of PSG. Kind of like how we're mini Barcelona back in the Wenger days. And the beautiful football, we're like mini Barcelona, do the beautiful passing play with Wenger ball, but we didn't have the bite of Barcelona, just like Pep Guardiola Barcelona with Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta, and the whole tiki-taka. We're doing that, but we're never as ruthless as Barcelona. So what I saw today was mini PSG-like, but we're not as ruthless as PSG. You know, Trossard is not a Kvaratskhelia. Saka, even though I know Saka is as good as Doué, but you know, not the same kind of player. Havertz, not like Dembele. You get it. So I already knew what was going to happen by playing Havertz. This lineup would have worked so well and not just make us dominate the game, but score so much goals if we started USGoonerz with that play. I'm going to tell you why. Starting USGoonerz with that play only works when Eze is in the game. So Eze in the game, remember I told you Eze playing that his usual 10 role, Odegaard recycling, get the ball up front, get it to Eze. Eze sees a pass to USGoonerz or takes a shot. And not just that, based on how Odegaard is playing right now, Odegaard would see a long ball to USGoonerz. USGoonerz is going to run the channels and fight and hold up play well, because now he's actually linking up well with the teammates. So that's how I knew that if you played this system, this lineup, and just started USGoonerz, that game would have been done in the first half. Like I said, I had no problem with him playing Eze and Odegaard, even though I wanted him to start Luis Kelly and bring in Odegaard second half. But I guess Odegaard is fit, and when your captain is fit, you start your captain. You know, because your captain literally won you the last game. So I kind of had no problem with that. My only problem was why start Havertz. So all I can say is Mikel Arteta got lucky because Havertz got the goal. But the goal came from a set piece when anybody can score a set piece. If the ball is put into the right, you're not targeting one man in the set piece. So Havertz just happened to be the guy scoring that goal. Thank you that you got the goal and probably won us the game. But that was a nasty risk. I don't want to see that again, man. You could tell just as much as Havertz got us that goal, Havertz could have easily lost that game for us because he almost got a red card. You could smell some kind of capitulation coming if he didn't get Havertz off that pitch. The moment he makes that substitution, take away Havertz, bring in USGoonerz, bro, it's like a new burst of energy in the Emirates. You could see the reaction from the crowd. You could see the fight, the power, the pace, the aggression from USGoonerz, just like running the keeper down and the press. You could see, it's like, yeah, you just release the bulldog, man. You release the angry dog. He came in and changed that game. Yes, it didn't score, but you could tell that if we had kept Havertz a lot longer, probably would have had a red card or considered a goal. At this point, 60 minutes, usually Arsenal score the second goal and kill that kind of game up, and it's just like 2-0 Arsenal, or we close up shop 1-0 Arsenal. The game went far off, and we saw that's what could happen. What does he do? Takes away Eze, because you could tell that Eze was literally growing out of the game, making some silly passes, some mistakes, and when that starts happening, it spreads like wildfire. Next thing you know, everyone is feeling the pressure and making sloppy mistake. Bam, you concede a goal. So that substitution, removing Eze, bringing in Luis Kelly, and eventually removed Odegaard for Zubimendi, but just taking out Eze, for Luis Kelly and bringing in USGoonerz for Havertz just kind of calm the nerves down. It gave the Arsenal fans some form of assurance that, okay, we're going to see this game out. Yes, Burnley huffed and puffed. Burnley were never really a threat. You could see the quality level in Burnley was terrible. If Arsenal played the lineup from the Fulham game, probably be leaving there with 5-0. But because of that lineup, you could tell it was just going to be a controlled 1-2-0 win. If it was against a strong team, probably a 2-1 win. Because that team was always going to dominate, create chances, but not score goals because you had no teeth in the front line. But yeah, Arteta got away with it. We got the win, one step closer. We got the job done. That's all that matters. And even another good news came in about Pep Guardiola. He's finally leaving. I mean, just to touch on the Pep Guardiola's topic, it makes sense. If I was Pep, yeah, this is the right time to go out like this. In the transition season, you get a domestic double. Fairs, man, fairs. Not a bad way to go out, to be honest. So you would accept it compared to if he went out, if he just retired or left Man City last season where they had a terrible season. Then it would just be like, yeah, Pep Guardiola doesn't have to rebuild a team. He can't handle the pressure. Things are going bad, then he leaves. But at least he didn't leave then. He rebuilt and he won 2 titles, 2 trophies, man. That is something. Like I said, man, Pep Guardiola is a genius. I mean, you got to give it for Arteta for going against Pep for like the last 3-4 seasons, right? And coming close to win it multiple times. So you got to give it to him. And he finally winning this trophy against Pep. I would say Pep at his, I wouldn't say best, but it was a strong Pep because he won 2 titles, man. So it's not like a last season Pep. It was a strong Pep. For Arteta to win it so close against Pep, yeah. It's not easy. People don't give Mikel Arteta the credit he deserves, but hopefully he gets one after the season if he wins it. I mean, it's just one more game though. But yeah, you got to give it to Arteta. Going against Pep, the genius, yeah. But good that he's leaving. It just creates a level playing ground whereby we have Mikel Arteta, Xavi Alonso, Michael Carrick, and Maresca. I guess is the next person that's going to be managing Man City. At least now you have a level playing ground. No freaky genius in there, right? Let's see who wins the next Premier League title. But yeah, finally, he's leaving. That was some good news, trust me. But I'm glad that he didn't just leave before Arteta could actually beat him. I'm glad that he stayed long enough to lose a head-to-head title to Arteta. You know, the apprentice finally beat the master. I just can't wait. The game tomorrow, Bournemouth versus Man City. All we need is for Bournemouth to take something out of Man City. If Bournemouth get a draw or a loss against Man City, Arsenal will be champions by Tuesday night. Let that sink in. But if not, we take it to the last day and we get our job done. Anyway, that's all for now, guys. If this is your first time in the channel, like this video, hype this video, subscribe, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. I want to see all Arsenal fans here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.